Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Dodge Charger Daytona Scat Pack, and yeah, it's the electric version of it. I really had to get my hands on this thing to see what all the fuss was about. It is a very controversial entry into the new generation of the Chargers. And, you know, spending a week with it, I get a lot of the problems. I do understand a lot of the people that are currently owning muscle cars that potentially want to upgrade into something that looks like this. They don't want an EV. And I can absolutely guarantee you that there is some missed opportunities here for Dodge in this platform. So I understand the dislike, but at the same time, I don't understand all of the dislike because I actually really like it. And before you click off the video for me saying that, or you call me some type of moron or I don't know what I'm talking about, I've driven a lot of vehicles, and I am the first guy to tell you that if you put a V8 in a smart car and make it manual, I will love that thing. But this just isn't a V8, and yes, it deserves a V8, but I'm not gonna compare it to the Hellcat. I'm not gonna compare it to any other Dodge gas-powered. Yes, it is faster, but no, that doesn't matter because this is a pure EV. So I'm gonna compare it to other EVs, and when you do that, this thing is probably the coolest EV that I've driven so far in my career, and for that reason, I kind of like it. I can't hide it. You can't really make me fully hate it. I get it. Fake sounds, fake noise. Yes, it's weird. It's awkward. It sounds like a video game sometimes, but there's just some type of personality to it that I just really, really enjoy. So I'm going to take you through it. I'm going to take you through the exterior, the interior, POV drive. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. Let's just get into it. All right, so next, let's take a look under the hood. Well, if you actually look under the hood, it's a frunk because there's no engine here. Get over it. It's just what it is. But this is an all-wheel drive platform, and we also get the 93.9 kilowatt hour battery. It's 105 gross, but you get 93.9 usable. So that'll be good for 388 kilometers or 241 miles if you're in America. But the good news is at 100%, I've seen just shy of 400, just over 400 in some cases. I do have warm weather in the winter if you do decide to drive this thing, because it is all-wheel drive, so that maybe becomes an option now where it wasn't so much before. You might see a little bit less than that, but still, I don't think you're looking at this vehicle for range. I think you're more looking at it for performance, and that it absolutely does have. If you press that power shot button, its maximum horsepower output is 670 horsepower. It is plenty, but I will say that it is heavy, so 670 maybe feels like 570 sometimes, but still, for a vehicle that looks like this, it still plays the part of an absolute bullet, and we like that. It can also produce 627 pound-feet of torque, quite a bit of torque for that, and it is an all-wheel drive platform, but it can send power to the rears, and in launch control and stuff like that, it will chirp the tires and do a little spin, just like the gas version of the Charger. Now, I get it. I know it's not the gas version, but it still has some of that personality there. And if it's an EV that can do that, you know what? I think I don't mind that. All right, so next up, we're taking a look at the exterior for the Dodge Charger EV. You can hate everything about this vehicle, but you cannot hate the styling because Dodge have absolutely nailed this. And they've actually made it so that this is the EV version, but this is also similar to what the gas version will look like as well. So it's basically just, you know, the same body style with an EV engine versus I think they're going to put their inline six, their Hurricane engine in it, which is a fast engine, but you'll still have a problem with that because it's not a V8. And again, I get it. When it comes to Challenger, I understand. But let's take a look at this front end. There's something like classic yet very retro about it, and I just love it. It's almost like a mix between a Charger and a Challenger, which makes me wonder, what are they going to do with the Challenger, if anything, if they do bring that back. Hopefully they learn the lesson and don't bring it back as an EV first, but we'll see. But I love this light bar too. I like that new logo there as well. I will say though that this big piece of red paint right here collects bugs like nobody's business. I mean, I cleaned it before I filmed, but this is crazy. I mean, it's a bad day to be a bug if this Charger EV is on the road. It is just crazy. But we do have a front-facing camera as well as parking sensors and you got like this nice black lip that goes all the way around. It'll go all the way around the side, all the way to the back. That looks really, really cool. Again, like I said, front trunk is there. It's awkward to open it. You gotta do it like this here. So you gotta open it. You have a button from the interior. So you press it right here. Sometimes it takes more than one press, which is, yeah, there we go. It doesn't say 2 press, but sometimes it takes a 2 press. There we go. There's no latch or anything. And then boom, you have your pretty small front trunk, whatever you want to call it. It's there. You can probably fit like a small backpack, maybe put your wallet in there because people don't know it exists. Whatever you want to do, that is there for you. Next, let's move over to the side profile. Looks really, really good. You can get a good idea of how long and massive that this Charger is, and it will come in a 4-door, but I think the 4-door will be gas, not electric. I actually don't hate the 2-door. Personally, I like the 2-door quite a bit. I like having one massive door. These tires are quite big as well. Probably some of the biggest performance Brembos that I've ever seen on an EV or possibly on a vehicle ever. These are massive. They're in the front and they're in the back too. Look at the size of them on the back here. It is just freaking unbelievable. I love the look too, where you kind of get like this nice curve in the front. Same thing in the back. You can kind of see you got the little rear wing there. I do have the package. It's of course going to give us the carbon fiber on the mirrors. I have the glass roof as well, so that is going to black out the roof too. And then we of course have the badge here, the stage 2 and the B. I really like that. Looks really cool. I think it's the Fratzog, if I'm not mistaken, because it's called the Fratsonic sound, but I think that badge is the Fratzog. You'll tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. You love to do that. Let's go on to the back, but first let's check out this charge port. Looks like a gas cap, because it probably will be on the gas version. No problem charging. You can charge it. I think it takes like about half an hour, 35 minutes from 10 to 80%, and then a lot longer from there, because it's kind of typical for the EV stuff, but not a big battery, so you're not going to sit at the charger for as long, but trade-off is you don't have that much range. Next, we move to the back though, where this thing looks so cool. I mean, look at this. We're in the shade a bit. We're in the back where the sun isn't. You can really get a good idea of this really cool light bar, as well as that really nice logo. Then we have some vents there as well that look cool. The Daytona badge right down there. And then you get to your speaker, your straight pipe speaker that I've been calling it all week. That's where all the sound comes from. That's where the fake V8 lives. That's where the kind of like Forza engine lives, I guess. Whatever you want to call it. This is where it's happening from. When it starts up, that's what it sounds like. It's not on right now, but of course I will include some B-roll for you to listen to it and let me know your thoughts. I think I already know what they are. But next we move on to the trunk, and check this out. The Charger is now kind of a hatchback. Look at this. Really, really cool. It's a ton of space, and there's also a ton of space in the rear. You'll see that in just a second. But oh my goodness, look at this. Perfect, no problem. Slight bit of storage underneath the floor there. You can see I kept a couple of microfiber towels. That is for the bugs that the front end likes to collect, so I don't have to keep washing it when I film it. You can just spray it down. And yeah, it's an automatic tailgate as well. You could close it from there, but it's got a good enough opening, got the privacy screen. I'm actually very happy with this interior wise, or trunk space wise. It's very, very impressive. Closes like that, no issues. And yeah, exterior wise, like I said, you can have a problem that it doesn't have a V8 or that it's not manual, or just have a problem with the fact that it's an EV, and that's fine. You're allowed that. But you can't argue that, first of all, this thing kind of screams for a wide body. It's screaming for it. I mean, oh my goodness, a wide body on this thing would look ridiculous, but even without it, it looks fantastic. Dodge did a really good job. They did not mess up when it comes to looking at it from the exterior, and you got to give that to them. If you're gonna give them nothing else, give them the exterior. Is nice. Let me know in the comments though, what do you think? With that being said, let's hop on into the interior and check out what's in there. So first, let's start up this Dodge Charger EV. Let me show you what that looks like, and then let's take a look at the interior. We'll start with the rear, but first let's turn this bad boy on. Put the lights back to auto. Start stop button is right down here, and fire it up. Sounds like an absolute fighter jet when you do that. It is hot in here. let's turn on this. I got my ventilated seats here. Look at this. Very nice. So let's actually hop out and into the back seat first before I show you a bunch of other stuff. So let's unclip this, and you can see I've got a baby seat back there. I actually just put it in this morning. I have not been driving around with that all week. It does this funny thing where it'll kind of go up. This is like one of those weird Dodge things that it's probably going to do it to me, and then it just goes back, and then I can't fit to where it goes back, and I also can't move that, so I almost have to like go really fast. So like it's one of these weird things that don't understand it. I don't know if it'll get fixed with a software update, but you got to like pull it so it knows what's going on. You got to pull this little tab, push it, and then like I just get in while it's doing that, and then it's just gonna come right back to me. I don't know why it does that. I've yet to figure it out. But anyways, once you are back here, there's actually a lot of room. Like, and there's also a middle seat. God knows who you're putting back there. Here, let's actually put the seat all the way like this. It's probably gonna crush my feet because I sit on the floor, but that's fine. Also, this has to go back in order for it to realize what's going on. All right, so sitting behind my driver profile, a ton of room, a ridiculous amount of room. Look at this. I fit here, no problem. I'm comfortable. I've got heated seats, 2 sets of USB-C ports, and as well as my own vents. So the AC is reaching me back here, no problem. Check out this sunroof. Very, very nice looking. A suede headliner as well. I will say though that if you're taller, these headrests are absolutely useless because you end up putting your head here. So for like a baby mirror or something, it would be good. I don't need it because my wife is back here most of the time with her, so I don't need it. But like I said, baby seat fits really, really well. Absolutely no issues installing it actually, because the seats are able to move so far forward that I could just hop back here and install it. There's a ton of room. Look at this. It's actually surprising, but it also gives you a good idea of how big the rear room is. It's really impressive, honestly. Like I said, rear middle seat, don't think you're going to use it. There is cup holders, but it does get blocked by my baby seat a little bit, but not something that bothers me. But I like the fact that there's heated seats back here. That is a plus and really cool. And yeah, I think it's awesome. So let's hop out here. I'm gonna have to do that pretty quick and probably not gracefully at all, but here we go. Let's do that. Ugh. I constantly hit my head on this part, but anyways. Once it realizes what's going on, I can bend it back, and that is not how I sit. All right, okay, let's press this. There we go. All right, so let's hop in now. Actually, let's show you the doors first. So, real carbon fiber on the door here, mirror adjustment. You only have 2 windows, so you only need 2 controls and 2 sets of memory seat settings. I like kind of the Dodge badge right here. I like the red stitching all throughout, looks really, really nice. I love these seats actually, they're super comfortable. Let's actually hop in here. Once you're sitting inside, you can hear there's kind of a rumble. I don't know if the audio is picking that up, but there is definitely kind of a rumble. So once you're sitting inside, you are greeted by this squared off steering wheel, right? Very interesting. You got your drive mode selectors right here, the power shot button and physical buttons. This might be an EV, but it's got physical buttons everywhere, which is really, really nice. You got the regenerative paddles here. You do have paddle shifters, obviously, but it's not for actually shifting because this thing can't simulate gears or do any of that. It can only control your regeneration, which is right over there in the corner. And it does do one pedal driving very nicely, no problem. Left-hand side controls, I've got my window controls as well as the illumination and the button like I showed you before for that front trunk. I've got a pretty nice infotainment display. You can kind of flip through different settings, performance settings, kind of the classic Dodge stuff. You know, you can got the timers, the lap timers, the G-forces, the top speed. That wasn't me, that one. And then how much horsepower you're getting. You can go through settings, the different messages here. Creep turned on. There we go. And then you can have the content layout, the height, brightness, whatever you need. You have it right here, and it's a little slow. It was a little slow. There is themes though, so you can have that theme. If I press it again, I'll get like a simplified theme, and then we're back to the normal one. If I do change the drive modes though, so here we go, I'll show you this. Drive mode here, if I go sport, I'll turn the traction control off. Here we go. And then this is track. You'll hear the exhaust pick up quite a bit, gets quite loud in here for that. A little bit of a different view there. And then drag, same thing as track. And then you have your custom mode as well. Actually, no, drag is different. Hang on. Drag, it just takes, sometimes like you can see it takes a little bit. That is what drag looks like. That looks really, really cool. And then this is custom. And then you obviously have wet snow, which is pretty cool of course, all-wheel drive, so it'll probably make sure that your system is good to go. But yeah, there we go, pretty cool. I've also got a heads-up display, and I really like this trim here. All of this trim is really high quality, really nice feeling. It's all kind of like Alcantara, really nice. I like the insert, or I think it's maybe suede, I'm not sure, but it's still really, really nice. I like the stitching here as well. The infotainment is Uconnect. It is decent, but it's the typical Uconnect glitches that you're used to. Like my CarPlay wasn't connecting sometimes. Like there's a little bit of gremlins in here. That's why I say like Dodge missing things. Like it's definitely not perfect, and it's a little difficult sometimes. But of course, you got that nice ambient lighting, which is called attitude adjustment. You've got comfort, driver, ventilated seats, heated steering. You got the DXR, which is for, I think it's a dash cam that will record the driving. I don't think it always works. I think a software update is probably very much needed for this. For at least my tester, I don't know if one is available or not. But yeah, so you gotta insert an external drive, and then it will write to it. And then I think that's how it works. But I don't think I've gotten it to work at all this week. But then you have different vehicle controls. I can actually press drive modes, and then I can go into custom, and then custom setup, and then you can change what the paddles do, whether they're on or off, which doesn't really make a difference to me because you can't really do anything with them. Traction control, you can have that in sport, track, street. Street is like the comfort mode. Steering, suspension, I have it in sport, but you can put it in street and it'll be even more comfortable. So you can kind of mess around with like the different modes too. You can kind of do the auto setup too. There's certain things that you can change, like the suspension and the steering. You can change that in auto mode as well. So pretty cool. You can kind of go through, mess around with that. It is decently quick, right? It's not too bad. And then you also have a kind of like a performance pages here. Let's go to vehicle, and then we got to go to dashboard. It is kind of hidden, right? So you can kind of see what I'm talking about, and it does take a while to go. Sometimes you got to click it more than once. It doesn't realize that I'm here and I want to do something. So timers, you got gauges, you got G-force meters, and you also got propulsions, which is really cool. But this Uconnect system could be faster, I will say that. I do have some physical buttons, or like they're kind of like the little touch buttons, so they kind of give you like a haptic feedback. Not terrible. The backlit, can see them, they work every time. Not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, most of it is controlled by this infotainment display. It's the way things are going now. Then I've got the different controls for the traction control. I've got the launch button, which will enable the launch control. And then I've got the parking sensors on or off. 2 sets of USB-C ports. Nice wireless charger with a little bit of storage. The pistol grip shifter looks really nice. All this here is real carbon fiber. The on and off button, very simple. No worries. It doesn't do that weird EV thing where you just get out and then that's it. A little bit of storage in here, which is very nice and comfortable. Little armrest here. Passenger gets a decent amount of space as well as the glove box, and you can see I've got the door handle. That is the door handle, but it does have an emergency release down here should this one, where's the button on camera here? There it is, right here, not work. But so far, I haven't had to use it because it's worked every time. No digital rearview mirror. There's a button up here for the trunk and the different SOS stuff and the lighting controls. Nice view of that sunroof. Visibility is decent, but I'll take you on the road and I'll tell you more about how it is to drive. Let's do it. All right, welcome on the road. Dodge Charger Daytona Scat Pack EV. And yeah, it has launch control, and it wouldn't be proper if I didn't. So I'm gonna put it into custom, which keeps traction control on and gives me a crazy launch. Let's come to a full stop here. Press the launch button. It is going to change to that screen. It's gonna tell me to hammer the brake, hammer the throttle, and wait. Okay, I canceled it. Shit. Do it again. Launch. Hammer the brake. Hammer the throttle. And go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Everything flew. Everything flew, and I still... Oh my god. It says launch control canceled. Yeah, the throttle was released. I was terrified. What do you want me to do? I didn't even press the... I just burned rubber. That was so crazy. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Like I had to hold on with like one hand because I was holding onto the shifter for some reason. I don't know why. I thought it was like a manual. Holy moly, that's fast. And I had traction control on, and I just burnt rubber there. That was crazy. So my custom mode has my exhaust mode in track, traction control on, the paddles are on, everything's good to go. But yeah, that is crazy speed. Whoa, dude, that's just woo. I can't do that too much, or else I'm going to lose my lunch, but we will do a power shot for you up there, kind of from like a roll. I don't want to get the cops called on me yet, because it's kind of like a residential areas that I like to film in, and then we kind of get onto the back road. But yeah, I don't want the police on me just yet. I'm kind of red. I am allowed. This speaker is obnoxiously loud. I mean, like, it's like strapping a JBL to your bumper and just playing, I don't know, Fetty Wap or something, and just, you know, harassing the neighborhood. It's kind of the equivalent to that. My tripod is like broken. I don't know. It just got absolute whiplash. So yeah, in terms of like the fun meter, that's off the charts because it can do that. It's so fun because it like chirps the tires, and like there is some type of sound to it. Like, it doesn't get old, and like the feeling is there. Like, I get like the little shot of adrenaline rush that I really like. So like, that's all there and all cool. I've got 670 horsepower. Let's get into the zone where we're allowed to speed up quite quickly, and we'll do a power shot. Actually, if there's no traffic, we're gonna power shot and launch control. I think that's exactly what we're gonna do. Let's actually stop here if we can, not impeding traffic because there is none. Hold the brake, press launch, power shot. All right, wait till it says let's launch control enabled. Let's go. Oh my God, my face. Whoo, my face hurts from that. Launch control complete. Yes, it was. Again, I still burnt rubber. Oh my goodness. That never gets old. That's too much fun. Say what you want. Yes, it does deserve a V8, but my God, is it still fun with an EV? So let's talk about something else other than what else is there to talk about other than like straight line speed? Okay, I think a lot of people have a problem with the price point, and in that case, I get it, because there are other things. If you're just looking for straight line performance, there's like the Tesla. My brain is fried from those launch controls. The Tesla Model S, the Plaids can like really do it. I think it smokes this thing. It's got more range, it does that better, but it's a Tesla. I mean, that's the biggest down point of that. And so who wants to drive around in that? Not me. So like, in terms of that, it's like, I get the argument there, but then again, it's like, okay. And also, what's funny is I've did some research, and these things are not selling well, and I get why. And I think you know, people that want to buy an EV don't want this because they want more range than this has to offer, and people that want a performance muscle car don't want this because it's an EV. They want the V8. They don't want a speaker in the back that sounds like a V8 or sounds like a video game. They don't want that. So it's just not selling. So it's like $107,000 as tested price, but I've seen them go for like 69 grand, or in some cases $59,000. This exact model, crazy. So I mean, if you really want one, maybe you can lease one for 2 years, have your fun, and bring it back before any of the issues pop up. Hopefully they don't pop up in 2 years. But I mean, you know, that is a strategy that you could use just to get behind the wheel of one of these, just to have a little bit of fun. That is what I would do if I was genuinely able to afford one of these. I am not, even at that lower price point, just can't do it. And also, I would just never drive it because I'm always driving these vehicles, these press cars, so it just wouldn't work. But still, it's tempting. Very tempting. Now, also, the speaker. So the speaker in the back sounds cool. Sounds like a V8. It adds to the show when you're ripping around and stuff. But it, like, drones. So right now I'm going 90, and it's just the same drone. And it can sometimes give me a headache, actually, so I'll have to switch drive modes. I'm going to leave it on for this whole video, and we'll see, because I like you guys to be able to hear it. But yeah, like, it kind of gets lower as the rev range gets lower. Or, like, the rev range. As you kind of get lower in speed, it kind of gets lower and slightly louder, and then like, but it just drones. So they miss the opportunity to simulate gears, because when I'm going that fast, I'm missing like the ba ba ba. You know, I'm missing that, and all these paddles do is control the regenerative braking. They don't control anything else. So it's like, okay, that's great, but like, what if I want to simulate gears like the Ioniq 5N does? It's proven that, you know, it would add so much more to this thing to just feel like I'm doing something. So look, I'm gonna hit it. And like, okay, yeah, that's fast, that was fun, but like, there was more show to it because of the sounds, and there's sounds outside, so I'm also harassing other people at the same time, which I like to do because I'm in a muscle car, and that's the point of it. But like, also, it's like, well, what, like, where's the shifter? Where's the me feeling like I'm doing something? There's none of that. It just completely takes it out. So it's a huge missed opportunity. And if they plan to continue this platform, which I don't think they do, they really need to put that in. That would really change the game here and make this thing a lot more enjoyable to rip around. I'm not saying that it isn't enjoyable at all, because it really is, especially when you do the launch control and you burn rubber a little bit. That's fun. I'm not going to try the drift because I don't want to ruin it. You know, I don't really want to put it in drag mode and ruin the tires for the next guy. I'm trying to keep it all good, and I don't really think Dodge would appreciate if I did that. So we're going to keep the drift for maybe another day, or if Dodge decides to let us do it, then we'll do that, or we'll take it to a track or something and do it there. But look, it can do all these things that a normal muscle car can do or is supposed to do. It's just not a V8, you know, whatever. But when you compare it directly to an EV, right? Like, this thing has a low center of gravity, it's heavy, so sometimes it doesn't feel as fast, but my God, when you power shot and launch control, it make you lose your lunch, or the other way, or it goes the other way down. You know, it's quick. The handles like a muscle car. It actually handles better than it looks like it will handle, because it's heavy and, like I said, low center of gravity, but like the turning radius is really good. It doesn't look like it's a huge vehicle. It's massive, and sometimes it drives massive, but it doesn't handle massive, if that makes sense. It actually handles quite well. And it surprised me. The first time I went to do a U-turn in this thing, I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I can actually pull that off without having to do like a 3-point turn or a K-turn, whatever the hell it is. I just turned like normally, and it's really good. And I like the seating position. I like the visibility. It's very on brand for a muscle car, so that's good. The seats are really comfortable. The ride quality is really comfortable. Even in like sport mode and stuff like that, it is extremely comfortable to just cruise around in. Although I don't think I would want to do a road trip, and I would definitely not buy this EV to do a road trip with, because it's just not efficient whatsoever, and it doesn't have a lot of range. I think you could probably get 400 in good weather, but if it gets cooler or the battery doesn't like the conditions, you are going to get less, and it is going to affect you, and you're not going to like it. And that's one of those things. I would have range anxiety just to go from Montreal to Toronto, which is like a 5-hour drive and I think 500 kilometers. I don't even think this thing could do that on one charge. And some EVs are now able to do that on a full charge. So, you know, there's that to keep in mind. So you're not buying this thing for practicality. You're buying it because it looks cool. It's performance. You're an enthusiast, maybe. You just like the quirkiness of it. But you can definitely see, you know, with just those things, just those little range things, why this thing maybe is not selling as well as Dodge probably hoped it would. But it does help the visibility that I have, like the turn signal little camera that works in the infotainment display. That's kind of nice. It's a high quality camera, 360. So it helps with the blind spot that's now caused by my car seat being in there. So that's good too. And yeah, it's a fun EV. I mean, that's if you just compare it to EV, because you can't pretend like this is gonna hold a candle to like a Hellcat or a Demon or anything like that, because those sounds, the way those things are, those pieces of machine, and honestly a piece of history at this point, you just can't replace that, and you can't replicate it with an EV. It'll never be able to do that. It can get close, but it's hard to compare the two. So when you really have to compare the Dodge Charger to other EVs, like, you know, the Kia EV6 GT is one, the Ioniq 5N. Those cars kind of do it better, but they're better at different things. Like, this is better at looking better, and I just love the look of this thing overall. You know, if I didn't need the space of the SUV, I'd probably still go with the Charger. I just like it. I just like the way it looks, the way it is. It would be a car that I own for a short time, not a long time. You know, just have fun with it, experience it, and then let somebody else deal with the problems that I'm sure will unfortunately come up with this thing. So, like, you already saw, I had like little glitches and stuff like that. Like, there's going to be more of that in the long-term ownership. There's going to be more of that in the press feed life of this thing. Other journalists will probably get worse than I got. I really do think that is the case, and it's unfortunate. So it's one of those things that, you know, if you want a quirky EV for a few years and you can kind of afford it in the budget, and you just want to have something to have fun with that's like not going to, you know, cost you a bunch in maintenance, oil change, stuff like that, and not going to cost you a bunch in gas, because yes, a V8 is fun, but it guzzles gas like crazy, whereas this, the electricity, although you will have to visit the charger a lot more, won't cost as much as a V8 would. So there is that too. Well, that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I could really talk about this vehicle forever and ever and ever, because it's just so interesting. It's so controversial and so interesting, and like, I get why people hate it, but I love it, and I get why there is still a reason to like this thing. It's not just a straight up throw it in the bin, at least not for me. I know people say like it's the only Charger that, you know, I don't want to steal, or the only Charger that won't get stolen and stuff like that, and you know, those are all valid. Those are all very valid, but at the same time, it's a cool EV. It's a cool car. Can't wait to see what they do with the gas version. And let's see, I think people will still complain about the high output inline six because it's not a V8. You'll still complain about it, but hopefully I get my hands on it just like this one. But let me know what you think. What do you think of the spec, the trim, the driving, everything in between, the charging? If you own one, let me know. Have you had problems with it yet or not? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. That being said, I'll see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.